Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and I want you to listen to this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of Humza Yousaf condemning Hamas. Goes to show you exactly where his loyalties lie. It's shameful. And yet, he did post a tweet, but it was carefully worded, it was bland, and, he daren't say anything bad against them because the people down the mosque won't like it, will they? This isn't a man who represents the whole of Scotland, of course. This is a man who represents a very, very tiny part of Scotland. Because most decent people think that anyone who shoots babies in the face are wankers and are unworthy of life themselves. Not Humza. Now, it's a truism that when you ask a yes or no question of a politician, if the first word out of that mouth is not yes, then they mean no. And the very fact that he has not condemned Hamas means he condones it. He's pro this. He's all for it. And the only way that he can get rid of that is for him to stand there in public and condemn them and call them out for what they are. That, of course, would require a pair of balls and a spine. And this is Humza Yousaf, of course. So, it isn't going to happen because he hasn't got any cojones and he certainly, as a jellyfish, hasn't got the spine. We'll take a look at this to see what's going on. Boom. Humza Yousaf is like a little craven cur, isn't he? Hiding behind his master's legs, putting his head out and barking, but then hiding back again. Because he daren't come out and face the fight. Because he is a coward. He is craven. He is not a real man, is he? Claims to be the leader, but he's not a real man. Look at him holding his substitute cock, because he hasn't got one of his own. Humza Yousaf blasted for failing to condemn Hamas amid Israeli attacks. Can't say that word. YouTube doesn't like it. The First Minister has been slated by opposition critics for failing to outright condemn this group who've launched brutal attacks on Israel, including the killing and kidnapping of women, and then carrying their bodies around and abusing the bodies on the backs of lorries for the world to see. That's who these people are. They shoot babies in the face. That's who these people are. Anyone decent would condemn it, but not, of course, Humza Yousaf, or Hamas Yousaf, as we're now going to call him. He's a pro-Hamas supporter. Hamas Yousaf was blasted by opposition critics over his failure to condemn this group, Hamas, who have killed hundreds of Israelis this weekend. The First Minister did take to social media to declare his worry about the ongoing situation in the Middle East. However, he did not outright criticise Hamas, who launched an attack on Israel early on Saturday morning, in a move which shocked the world. He did repost a tweet from the SNP's Westminster Foreign Affairs spokesman, Brendan O'Hara, who said the scenes we are witnessing from Gaza and Israel are deeply disturbing. And along with the rest of the international community, we condemn the action of Hamas, just as we condemn the killing of all innocent civilians, be they Israeli or Palestinian. Now, Brendan O'Hara, and I've never liked the man, and I've got to say this, Brendan O'Hara is one of the very few MPs, MSPs, politicians from the left who's actually come out and said he condemns Hamas. And so for once, and I think probably the only time ever, well done, Brendan O'Hara. Seems that there is some last spark of humanity inside you. But a number of Tory MSPs called him out for his failure to outright condemn the terrorist attacks. We're talking about Yousaf here. As Mr. Yousaf's own tweet failed to take any sides. He said, "My wife Nadia and I spent the morning on the phone to her family in Gaza, who were probably having a party. We've got to be honest. Hooray, hooray, look what we done today." That's what they'll have been doing in Gaza. Now, let's hope that Humza Yousaf will experience what the families of all those young Israeli innocent kids experienced. I'm not wishing it on anyone, but it might give him an idea of how awful this sort of shit is and why he shouldn't be condoning it in the way he is. He said, "Many others in Scotland will be deeply worried about their families in Israel and Palestine. My thoughts and prayers are very much with those worried about loved ones caught up in this awful situation that they caused." He still is not condemning it. Mr. Yousaf was and there's a reason. Mr. Yousaf was previously criticised for arranging a meeting with a former commander of Hamas back when he was a parliamentary aide in 2008. He was 22 years of age, and he claimed he had no knowledge of Mohammed Swahala when he organised it. And I don't believe that. I believe he supported it. I believe he knew perfectly well. I believe that as someone who is very much of that ilk, shall we say, he's going, yeah, great. He probably watched that and was so happy. So bloody happy. Anyway, senior members of the Scottish Tories called him out for his refusal to condemn the attacks. Now, if he won't condemn them, then he agrees with them. And that's all you've got to remember. And until he condemns them, and actually says he condemns it and says that it's wrong, and says this and said it shouldn't have happened, and said these people are evil and bad and wrong, then he is on their side. He agrees with them. And it's as simple as that. There is no other avenue for him. He either condemns it or he condones it. You cannot sit on the fence. Former Scottish Tory leader Jackson Carlo added, the ongoing Hamas incident tonight in Israel is beyond disgusting. The limp response of Scotland's FM, it's not some natural disaster, but an act of vicious, evil. And the bewildering lack of any response from Kirsten Oswald is a complete abdication of leadership. It is shameful. Journalist Susan Dalgety highlighted that Mr. Yousaf featured on the front page of Time magazine as a leader to watch. And so incidentally did a certain German or Austrian a few years ago. Little mustachioed Austrian. He was on Time. And look at them. His failure so far to condemn Hamas's atrocities against Israeli women and girls shames him and Scotland. A true leader would stand up and speak out. A true leader would. But this is Hamas Yousaf. The man is not a leader, is he? He's a woman. He's got no balls in his pants. I don't know what he's got down there. He must be like a fucking Ken doll. Oh, what a disgusting piece of filth he must absolutely be. Because he agrees with Hamas. The First Minister was even compared to former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn with his failure to condemn the attack. Nick Timothy, a former advisor to Theresa May, said Jeremy Corbyn isn't the only British political leader who seems unable to condemn this. It's the most barbaric kind of it imaginable. Hamas pummeled Israel with rockets on Saturday morning before launching attacks across the country. What they did was effectively declare war on Israel. And Israel are going to go in and Israel are going to say, right, we'll accept your invitation to this war. And that would cause even more problems, of course. But here's the thing. If all the Muslims put down their guns, there'd be peace in the Middle East. If Israel put down its guns, there'd be no Israel. That's the difference. I'm going to stop and come up. Well, there you go. Well done. You now have in Scotland a leader who supports Hamas. A leader who is actually pro the murder of children. This is what happens when you vote these people in. Pro child killers. I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. No balls. No ability to say that this is wrong. Don't want to upset those down the mosque. That's all this is. Don't want to say the wrong thing in case somebody has a quick word. Wankers. One and all. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourself. And please remember that that is exactly who your FM is. Till next time, stay safe, stay well. And just treat Hamas Yousaf with the contempt he deserves. Goodbye.